Hello everyone, welcome back to our forever world. I'm just over here trying to get rid of these mangrove leaves. Finally got them so I can make a little barn for our animals and eventually some stables. Yeah, let me show you what I've been up to. So first off, we've got these nice little ponds. These were actually done pretty recently. So we got some ponds with a little creek flowing, and this is where we've got our nether portal. We've got a fun little guy here. And if you come up, we'll get a path coming around here. We've got one started, but we've got our greenhouse. And if we go inside, we can also see our bees. We've got storage that is overflowing on the potato side, but we can always add a couple more barrels. But yeah, I'm happy with this greenhouse. I'm wanting to use more of just the colored wood, and so I'm happy with this build a lot. I might add some moss here instead. I've only recently gotten moss. I didn't really get a good spawn for moss. Got more of one for dripstone, and we do kind of have a chicken infestation because I keep doing that. I keep picking eggs up and just tossing them. But let's go up to our gazebo here. And here's our other little pond that had our sugarcane in it. It used to be just surrounded with sugarcane. This pond wasn't always here. This was another one that I put in. But then we made our greenhouse, and so I've moved most of the sugarcane away, and now we just have a little pond up here that creates a little waterfall for our portal to sit behind. And a little gazebo here. And I think this is where we want to put the dragon egg. Maybe get a lodestone or something and then put the dragon egg on top. I think it would just fit well here. Try to do a little bit with the skulk and just make it, I don't know, just make it look a little interesting. We've got our house with this guy who doesn't really ever seem to leave. Let's get a nice little view around our house. We've got a nice little custom tree I put over here. I think I want to do a few more. I'm not the greatest with custom trees, but I am trying to make them look a little better. My main rule with the custom trees is I know a lot of people, especially for birch trees and stuff, will use diorite. But I still, in terms of anything like mountains and stuff, I don't want to get into using wool or anything like that. I still want to use what materials they should be for what it is. So like mountains and terrain, I still want to use different types of stones and dirts. For trees, I still want to use different types of wood, which I might change these to spruce because they fit the texture of the bark a little bit better, but I also don't mind them as the oak. And I have some roots that I want to add, maybe here and maybe further up is just extra branches. This is the back side of our house, which we might do a little bit more terraforming around back here. Just another random chest that we've got sitting out. We've got a couple of those. Let's go inside our house. Doors always stay open. Here we have a little map of our world. As you can see, it's pretty small so far. We haven't extended too far. This is our mine shaft, our greenhouse, our gazebo, all this fun stuff. Have a little kitchen here. Our cutting block and our knife. Got some hanging plants, a little bit of seating. And let's go over to our enchanting area. A lot of books, and for each of these pedestals, I kind of want to write in the lore of each city that we build. Maybe we'll do different parts, but I'll explain more about that in just a sec here. And if we go upstairs, we just have a little bedroom area, little cartography table just because I needed the maps. Nothing over here. Lovely little dome, glass dome. Really brightens the space up, makes it very fun to be up here. This is a little bit darker, still has nice bright windows. We've got closets for storage. A lot of the interior still needs done, but I'm just slowly chipping away at it. And then let's move over to check on the progress of the big hole we started digging, because of course that's what we have to do. All of our chests are still here, so we have to move all these. We still have our furnaces and everything. Finally went and grabbed some cactus. But the reason the chests are all spread out like this is I've had a couple creeper explosions, and so we've had to spread our things out a little bit. This is our main horse, quite fast, can jump quite high. I think it's 4.5 blocks. We take him out a bit. And of course, you've seen this guy flying around. We're in 1.21.6. So we have our happy gas. And so let's get a little overview of this. I love this guy. Having this guy is so fun. You know, he's not too fast, but he's great for overhead shots like this. Like, just look at this. It looks so nice. We're going to have a nice big barn down here with some stables. Also, I love this feature with the music up in the top. It saves me from editing music in and copyright issues if I edit the wrong music in. It's just the music that's built into the game. So it's lovely. This is the whole area that I have been working on. Let's go down in our hole. So you can see it is quite far down now. And we just have some tunnels down here. We haven't done too much strip mining, as I do prefer some caving. So where we grab some of our tuff. We've got a little bit of skulk, but we don't have an ancient city below us. Here is where I've done my main XP. We have a zombie spawner here. Lots of rotten flesh. And just another cave that we come through. And as you saw, we did most of our house out of the dark oak wood. That actually was quite a trip for me to take. It was, I believe, 6,000 blocks in both directions, and I've forgotten my minecart. That is... Usually I keep a minecart in my inventory so I don't have to climb up here, but I guess now we're going to get the full view of the entire mine shaft here. I've been trying to stay away from different mods, like this is why I keep the spyglass on me instead of having a zoom mod. I want to, in future installations of this series, I think I might try to do the replay or the flashback mod or something just to show the building process, because I'm not always recording or anything, but it would be nice to be able to show, you know, the building process and get a little time lapse or something for you. But yeah, not too far, not too difficult. Where is my minecart? Maybe it got blown up when the creeper blew up, because that happened a little bit recently. So let's go replace this real quick, because we do need that. We go down there quite a bit. And he blew up my crafting table. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, we're gonna need another one of those. I think we have somewhere. We'll just make a new one, because that is ridiculous. There we go. I keep my inventory a little bit full, but I got a solution for that towards the end of this episode. Let's go to sleep real quick here. But like I was saying, we did have to travel quite a ways for dark oak, but we didn't actually need to. We had the roofed forests near us. There's actually like one just down the shore that way. There's a couple somewhat nearby. I found that out by going to Chunk Base and just putting our seed in. I haven't used it for anything else. When I was unchecking stuff, I did find... I'm trying to get our guy down here. I did find that there is a portion out this way that has like 5 ancient cities. So I want to do that. Maybe we'll do an episode on that of just... That's also why I want all the wool, is when I opened this world and saw all the mountains, I just knew there were going to be ancient cities. Let's go and get into the lore aspect of the video, because I know that is what a lot of people are for. And as you can see, we haven't touched the villages yet. It's been, I think, roughly 200 days in this world now. We're either just past it or we're just about to. But we're about to start on that. What we're going to do is I'm going to go to the end and get shulker boxes, so then I can just set up stuff around here. I have ideas for ways I want to do these things. And so down here, obviously it's going to be our dwarven town. We're going to have a lot set up around here. And we're going to have bridges coming across. And it's going to be very stone, very rustic. I tend to build very naturally, integrate it into the nature and stuff. But I want to get away from that, especially for this first build. So it's going to be pretty brutalist, but also, very ornate. So it's going to be very fun. And then this village up here is going to be kind of our elven village. I kind of want these like dwarves, elves, humans, pillagers might be something else. But if you have any lore ideas, like I don't want to call them just elves or something, but unfortunately we've lost all the villagers in here at some point. I guess it's stayed loaded in while we've been over there. I already have a color palette. I want to use a lot of moss. I want to integrate the cherry wood. I want bamboo, a lot of glass. I want it very natural and very elegant. Like I want these to be very high end, like think of like high elves in fantasy. So that's kind of what I want for that. And then the pillagers will be a little more brutish, but they'll also be more put together than you'd think. And then as we scoot down, we can see our other abandoned village. And this will be our quote unquote human village, or just our traditional village. It'll be a fishing village. I don't know if I'll do like large ships. This might just be a smaller village out here. But this will be where we get our human village, where they have like some closer relations with the elves, which we can figure out different sorts of things. But the humans and the elves are kind of attuned to each other. They're kind of more partners. Elves obviously think they're more put themselves high up after being ransacked, and the humans came in and took their stuff. The human buildings will have a different style. They'll be more, think of like a classic fishing village would be more like that. But the elves got raided and then they moved up here. Maybe we'll put up some like hefty magical defenses or something. I think that would be interesting. But they moved on top of the dwarves, which had some conflict. And so maybe we'll put some sort of barrier or something between them. But maybe because all this would have happened a while ago. And so the dwarves and elves would have come to some sort of agreement, but they're still not great. The dwarves don't love living under them. They love living in the mines because they're dwarves, or whatever we end up calling them. The lore that's happening, you can see our area is much more built up. I do need to spend a bit more time. It's been about a month and we're 200 days in, but I do need to spend more time. I feel like a lot of time, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people would be more built up than I am, but I just play this game slow. I just play the game to enjoy it a bit more and just try to, play it as I want to play it. I don't want to rush builds or anything, or, I want to make sure that I'm happy with the decisions I make in the world. So it's nothing too crazy. We'll get things built up. This path I want to come along because I don't use my horse as much as I should. And that's like very heavily because of the water. So I was talking in the last episode of this about a month ago about how the land just kind of naturally slopes down for a path. So that's what we're going to do with this path, is we're going to take it down, slope it down, and just let it come on down, and then we'll have bridges across because there's villages all over there that we want to work with as well. And so we can bring this around, and then this path will just be our area. And so we'll bring it under the bridge. We'll have one little stem off there, but that's why I built the bridge here, the little rickety bridge. But then we'll have that come down. And I don't know if I want this bridge or this little boardwalk area to come down to the barn, or if I want it to come all the way through and wrap around to the barn. The barn might be a little more out of the way, so we might do this path, and then it might connect back up here, so it might be a more rugged path. Because I'm sticking with this gravel, andesite, and stone texture for the path. But as we get further in, around here, I might keep the chiseled tuff. I might keep that as the border. But then as we get further away from kind of the built up things, it's going to turn into coarse dirt and things like that. So it's not always lined up, like as we get the path further down here to where it can bridge across and all these, because I've checked the distances. If we go down over here, and as we come up across here, you can kind of see that you could do a bridge maybe over there, but that's kind of the point of conflict. I don't really want a bridge A bridge here would be a bit long. It'd definitely be doable, but it's longer than I think I would like. So this is kind of a central island, and it gets surrounded by some of these. So I think bridges going across the shorter land spans, and then maybe we can build something up here that's a bit more landlocked that you'd have to ferry across to cross. I've swam through and boated through these plenty to know that that's kind of how I want the path. So maybe we can do something here. We should do something here with this pillager outpost, get them a little bit closer. Maybe we'll cut this land back a bit so they're not too close, but just where they're within striking range and menacing distance. But we'll get a path so we can take our horse around, and that'll just be some gravel and andesite stone. Then we'll get some dirt and coarse dirt and build it up more naturally into the land. Then the closer it gets to civilization, we'll have paths that connect up into these, and maybe we'll do distinct paths for each village, and then as they connect up to the newer stuff, we'll kind of fade that in, so the gravel will turn into moss or whatever we decide for the path over there. Probably not moss, but path blocks or something. Maybe we'll stick with those. But the idea for the lore is that even though we're building up our area first, it is the newest in terms of this world, where it is the most recent area that has been developed. And so we're making our area just so we have places to store things, we have access to the farms and things that we need. But in reality, in the lore of the world, as we build up these villages, we will be essentially exploring them and discovering them. So that's when we can write our lore and figure out the feuds and conflicts and things that happened within the lore. We can go write it in. But as far as our world is concerned, anything, this is our area, this is us here, this is new, and we just set up here, and then we're discovering everything else. That's why I wanted kind of the observatory look with the glass dome and all that. I wanted it to be kind of a scholarly building, a research building. I'd like to add a museum portion in it at some point, because I want it to be, we set up here and then we branched out and we discovered all these other civilizations and found out their areas. And it's not just going to be empty villages. Like, I want them to be populated. So I want it to kind of be, they're all existing in the time of their peaks in terms of the world, so we can actually have it be active. Like, we're not going to have rundown villages. Maybe we will in terms of, like, they were even run down or abandoned at the time of, whatever their peak was, or ruins, stuff like that. Or maybe it's just even older than most of the world itself. We'll get all this information on them so we can go explore them in their prime. So the human village would be bustling with all the villagers. The elven village and the dwarven village, they'd all have their people. Elven village, I want to get all the villagers the jungle outfits, because it's going to be a very natural village. A lot of wood, a lot of moss, things like that. So I want to get all that developed, but the lore might be a little bit confusing. I'm sure there are other ways that we can do it that will be a little bit clearer. But maybe it's just that, they still exist, and that's how we've learned about them. But to start, we're going to do our dwarven village. We're going to move on to the elven village. But first thing that I've got to do is go to the end. And I did see that it's a bit close when I was looking through chunk base. I wasn't trying to, but you see things. I think it's like 500 blocks that way, so it's pretty close. So I'm going to be streaming that later today. Go ahead and check the stream as soon as this video is up, or on the day this video is up. I'll be doing some preparations, because this is our armor. We got our tools and stuff. We got mending on a couple of these. We just went out and traded, because I don't want to have a villager breeder or anything like that yet. Maybe each of the villages will have a couple specific trades that we go for, but nothing that'll be too crazy. I did use chunk base yesterday for a mangrove swamp, because it was, I think, 4,000 blocks south. So we just took a trip into the nether and found the coordinates that we needed. That also gave us access to a desert. So that is quite nice. I'm trying not to use it too much. I'm trying not to use coordinates on their own too much. I did a little bit for our mine shaft, but I'm trying to play with the tools that are given in the game. I want to get some compasses, some lodestones set up so we can always find our way back, especially when we go out exploring. So I don't know. It's been fun kind of having these somewhat limitations. I don't open my coordinates to know the direction I'm going or anything. I just know sun rises in the east, sets in the west, so that's east, that's west, which would make that north, and that south. So pretty simple. I think I want to make some sort of compass floor design in the Elven village at the very least, if not more. Maybe we'll do a kind of clock design in the Dwarven village so they always know what time it is, because it'll be quite underground as well. And that'll also help us get materials for future stuff, because we're gonna have to dig quite a bit. But I do want to be streaming more. I've kind of fallen off streaming a little bit on this world, but I do want to do a lot more streams. I want to do some streams on Twitch and YouTube, but I might do just casual streaming on Twitch, and then whenever we're doing something like trying to write some lore or doing like an event like going to the end, I think I would want to attach YouTube to that as well, because I have figured out how to multi-stream. And so that would be nice. I would love to be able to figure that out. So be on the lookout for the stream, which might be live as you're watching this video. We will see. Might be poor timing on my part, but that is a-okay. And I saw you. I showed you the zombie spawner that was down below. I love finding spawners in my world. That was kind of... We were kind of digging through. We kind of had to explore a bit. We have a straightaway tunnel to it now. But before, it was kind of a pain to get to. Had to discover through several different channels. And then I was going around the other day. This is like a week or two ago. And noticed this little crevice. I've got a few of these because we are in a mountain. And I decided to just go down because I was like, explore a little bit. Might as well. Had a few torches on me, so I lit the way up, just kept going further down, fighting some mobs, you know how you do. Saw some cobblestone, and well, another zombie spawner. So maybe we'll turn that into something. Maybe we'll just leave it. Always nice to know that I've wasted a little bit of my time by just sticking to the one cave, but it's always fine. We can always turn this into something else. Maybe the Dwarven village will connect up to here somehow. Not sure how it would, but it can. I don't think there's anything I'm forgetting so far. It hasn't been as built up as maybe some other people's 200-day worlds, but I do a lot of exploring and just running around and trying to find my way up. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I don't try to rush through. Whenever I do have the world open, I'm usually working on something. I'm not AFKing or anything too much. Yeah, I just, I work at a little bit of a slower pace. I try to do my builds all in survival. I haven't done any of these in creative, so it's a lot of trial and error with that. Just figuring out what works, what doesn't. So yeah, I'm happy with the progress that we've made over the past month and 200 days, and I'd like to make these a little bit more regular. Maybe I'll give you guys updates and maybe even build along and show you guys some of the building process for the Dwarven village. But the next step right now is going to be the end, and don't worry, that doesn't mean we're just going to be using our elytra, because we don't really have a source of gunpowder right now, so we're still going to be using our guy here, which I need a name for. We'll be using our horse, which I also need a name for. We have this other horse. It was just kind of sticking around here, so decided to put it in our hole, but will be shulker boxes. Mainly, that's what I want the end for, is the shulker boxes. And then we'll build our stables, probably over here. We'll build our barn, which I have a solid idea for. And we'll get a little pig pen and a coop going so we can finally gather up all these chickens, because they are quite bothersome. Yeah, if you do have any ideas for extra builds that we can do around this way, or lore ideas, I will gladly take lore ideas. If anyone wants to chime in on conflicts that might have happened, ideas for races, their trades, who's aligned with who, names for these things. I want to build a proper fantasy world within this world. Kind of use a Minecraft as a medium for storytelling. And if there are events that you want to see, obviously I will show the Ender Dragon in the live, and I think that's mainly what I'll do, is do most of this world live streaming. I would love to especially keep it up on Twitch at the very least. YouTube is a little trickier because you have to pre-set it up, so I want to reserve YouTube stuff and keep the streams and those YouTube streams for things that would be fine to be on the channel as full videos on their own, several hour videos albeit, but end fights, ancient city, stuff like that, where you can put on and it's not just going around and collecting some materials. And I know that content does have its place, but I prefer YouTube to be a little bit more cohesive, and then Twitch is where we can get kind of weird, because I do play other games on my Twitch, so that's a little bit more chaotic, and I like it that way. So YouTube streams I want a little bit more, and I'll do other like full games and things like that. One that I've been playing that I unfortunately won't record, but that I have been playing, is Nier Automata, and that is such a fun game. I gotta play more by Square Enix. I've played the first hour or so, but just all the camera movements and everything, they're so fun. But yeah, if you do want to watch other content by me, I've got a Subnautica series going on that I need to continue, actually. We're only 2 episodes in, but we are getting close to a Sea-Doo. If you have other games for me to play, I've got a few that I've played in the past. But if you want to see more, go ahead and recommend them. I've got some demos and things from Steam Next Fest that I've played. Most of all, if you comment anything, please comment lore ideas. Not only will I need some help because I want to flesh out this world a lot, but I also want this to be a collaborative fantasy project. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments, follow the pickaxe. I will see you in the next update or in one of my live streams. Goodbye.